evening, my friends, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. It is a pleasure to be here with Party Scott, and it's Party Sandy and Party Scott tonight, and we are going to we're going to get you pissed. We're going to talk about how to deal with that being pissed, how to calm down, maybe how to do things. But we've got topics. I mean, we're living in a crazy time. So crazy, insane.
No
Twilight.
shortage of topics
No.
in 2025.
No. And it's like I call it the Twilight Zone, or are we on an alternate universe, really? So hey, Scott, welcome, and thank you
Hey,
first to the moderators.
what's up?
Looney Tunes and Kim, thank you. I always have to say thank you to the moderators. I don't know if Bella's here yet, but thank you, moderators, as always. All right, let's go. So, Scott, what's been going on? Tell us all about your life, things happening. We know you as one of the Three Doomigos, and you've been with me before, so welcome.
Yeah. One of the Three Doomigos, still doomed. End of the world's going. Pretty much as expected. And yeah, you're all now domestic terrorists if you're watching this. So sorry.
Yeah, let me tell you, I put this little thing up. It says, let's not equate left and right-wing rage. Right-wing rage gave us the KKK, but left-wing rage gave us the weekend. I thought that was great for this.
Definitely. So, yeah, I mean, it's been, Sandy, it's writing a book is hard. It's real hard. So I've been trying to do that. It's so hard. Like the finishing touches are so hard. Oh, it's so much work. A fiction, especially when it's like about like big stuff. It's like, and huge kind of things going on. It's been painful. So next time I'm on the show, we will talk about that, I hope. But
About the book, yeah.
that's a lot of what I've been up to. So,
I'm proud of you. I think that's
and
fantastic.
surviving, just, it's America. It's, I don't know. Everyone's all actually either surprised or apathetic. And I'm like, those are the two wrong ways to feel too. Right?
Really?
You should not be surprised what's going on, and you should not be apathetic about what's going on. But I don't know, it's a crazy time. That's what's blown my mind the most, honestly. It's, just people not seeming to understand anything that we're on a planet or anything about the world. Like this was all kind of so predictable, and it all really comes down to climate, which it's the context that we exist in. And I mean, I'll still say I think there's a good chance we wouldn't have had Trump the first term, which everyone just think everything comes down to Trump. Like one person destroyed America, like one single man, one rich kid, one Richard doofus. Like this dude,
dipshit.
but
doofus.
he's a charismatic dipshit. Like we'll give him that. Like he's got that over over most of our politicians, especially the Democrats. Jesus Christ!
Oh my gosh.
Like,
We'll get
Hakeem
there.
Jeffries. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah.
We will get there.
Oh,
It's like the limp noodle brigade on the left, or not the left.
People need to start differentiating between Democrats and the left, because it gets really confusing. You got to understand who you're talking to know like what they mean when they say left. Do you mean Democrats, or do you mean like actual leftists, which are like sometimes vote Democrat, but
progressives?
Like, it's not leftist. Progressive would vote for progressives, but the
we're trying.
The Democrats target the left just like the right does. So
no shit. I know. I mean, really think about this. How Hakeem Jeffries has not endorsed Zohran Mamdani for mayor of New York City.
They're totally bought. It's just wild to the degree that Israel owns the Democratic Party too, but just our Congress, and it's wild the way they use campaign finance for a foreign state to buy our Congress essentially, and it's kind of like everyone kind of gets what they want out of it as far as everyone doing the evil shit, but
yeah.
Well, Democrats threw away the election. They knew they would lose over Gaza, and Kamala Harris wouldn't back away from a freaking genocide of children to not let Trump be president. And they knew they would lose because of Gaza. They had to have known. Like you have to be.
Well, so many people are upset, and now look at the people
on
the
swing
right.
States where it was like you're expecting these people to vote for you, and while you're genociding them and saying that gaslighting them into. It's just wild. It was wild, and I mean, because they're big Arab and Muslim populations in the key swing like Wisconsin, Michigan. It's like, look, those would have been definitely in play, but not with Gaza going on, and and everyone else with the conscience across the country who was just that was a deal breaker for it. It was like, but they didn't care. They were so bought and sold. They somehow don't care. They really are the real nihilists. People that call me, a lot of Democrats used to call me a nihilist when did political stuff, but like I swear, the Democrats are the real nihilists. Like at least Republicans believe in fascism, and at least they believe in like mass extinction and making and destroying the planet and killing everything and
They
maximum
have
injustice.
beliefs.
Like, at least it's they have beliefs. Like Democrats believe in literally nothing, and
Well,
it shows.
I think that is a little harsh. I mean, really, Medicare for all. Well, maybe I don't know. Does Chuck
I mean, I'm
Schumer
talking about the politician.
Oh, the politician. Yeah. Well, we know John. We
There's a
know
big
where
difference.
John Fetterman. He might as well be a Republican. He might as well be on the right side of the aisle. That guy lost it.
There's a lot of them. That's the problem is we have a two-party system, and then we have two parties that are both really right-wing and support each other all along the way. And it's like, well, we have no opposition party because we have two fascist parties, if we're being honest. I mean,
I can't go as far as fascist on Democrats as like that. Only because
we got an hour and a half to talk about this now.
But there's a representative from my state, New York, Tom Suozzi. He made a comment and he said, well then, if you're so unhappy, then leave make a party. But unfortunately, if all of us that have the beliefs that we have and the feelings that we have and that are not centrist make a party, how's that going to work when it's overwhelming the two-party system, the duopoly? How is that really going to work? I mean, could it? I like to be optimistic and think it could, but every time there's a third party, and it wouldn't be the Green Party, I'm sorry, it wouldn't be the Green Party, but every time there's a third party, something happens. There was that People's Party, I think it was, and that fell apart because there was so much fighting and infighting, and, how do you do this? I believe it's something.
What I've always said was, since around 2016, I guess, like the system really is a two-party system. I mean, it's like first past the goalpost, and the way, especially nationally, and we focus nationally so much, it's partly psychological. So yeah, like technically we could just vote third party, and like Jill Stein can be president right now, but like that's not really like a realistic thing, just because of people judge based on how feasible they think someone winning is, and I guess that's fair to some degree, but. Obviously, it's gone way too far. But what I've always thought was kind of like a shadow party. Like you use the Democratic Party when you need to for the ballot space to get on the ticket to run in the primary there. But the problem is Democrats go hard in primaries. Like if you want to see Democrats take the gloves off, get off the bench, wake up, come out of their coma, back from brunch, and punch some teeth out. Like you got to get a progressive in the primary with them, and they will show up and fight like. They should be fighting fascism right now.
There's quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's like last year when 2024 when Trump came in, we lost a lot of good. We lost Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush. Hopefully Cori Bush is running back, but that was largely because of AIPAC. That was because of the genocide.
I know.
Like, the Democrats purged the people the youth are happiest with, and then they wonder why the youth don't show up for them. It's like because they're not blind and completely stupid. Like,
I was
they're being screwed.
So angry about Jamal.
They don't have the kind of hope that other generations could have been like, oh, maybe we'll get in on this Ponzi scheme. Like, the Ponzi scheme is looking feeble these days to younger generations. So.
You're not wrong. I mean, the whole thing with Jamal down in the Southern District in New York State. I mean, my family was everybody was like mortified. It was Latimer from Westchester County Executive had to win, and he's another centrist asshole. Just another centrist bend over and how far can I lick it? I mean, really, seriously, it was sad. And Jamal is great. He's got passion. Yeah. He's got
who more could you need at a moment like this? Right. We need someone in Congress pulling the fucking fire alarm for real. I guess.
Yeah, for real. And he's not there. What have you heard that George Latimer has done? That's the guy. What have we heard? Yeah. Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing.
They purged them because they supported Palestine, because they opposed the genocide, and that was the reason why we lost.
And remember,
it's crazy. This is
we're supporting families, women, and children. We are not supporting Hamas. We are supporting families and women and children. And I did write a Substack today. I am writing. Listen, I'm enjoying it, but it's a lot of research. And like you just said with the book, this Substack, it's 2 years worth of crap I had in files and a book I had. And I finally am starting to do it because I'm so disturbed by what's happening. And my Substack, it goes into some history. It goes into my feelings about Bibi. It goes into feelings about how I have people that I know that live in Israel who are completely MAGA brainwashed, but it's MEGA, make Israel great again. I mean, it's sick. So why don't, you know what? You want to start out with that first clip I have, and then we can go from there? Yeah, baby. All right. We got some clips, guys. We got some clips. All right.
We have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class followers. TikTok. TikTok. Number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. Exactly. Very good. And, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now.
He was talking to right-wing young influencers. And, we didn't see that flashing the money shit, but they're already out there talking the talk.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell how, when you look at X, you really see that Israel is utilizing that.
Yeah, but X is also, it's also, though, extreme.
I didn't mean to call it X. I meant to call it Twitter. My bad.
Well, it's anti-Semitic, too. There's really disgusting shit.
It's just thanking Elon, going up and throwing the Hail Hitler salute and all the Nazi stuff. He's like, I mean, Elon's, I don't really think he believes in it. I think he's kind of just like a egomaniacal Nazi, but like just by like circumstance. But I mean, but he's definitely like
really a circumstantial Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a cultural thing because he's such a big baby. He's the richest dude in the world. He doesn't have to. He could be the most communist motherfucker we ever knew for all he wanted. Like, he could do whatever he wants, but he chooses to do
right, not for good.
Deranged, democracy destabilizing, Nazi death cult leader, and it's sad. Who am I to argue with capitalism?
But this whole thing is so crazy that it's not just Israel, it's Qatar. They gave Archturd a jet. It's other countries. It's people. I mean, who did the Saudis? It's the Saudis. $2 billion to Jared Kushner, who I believe wrote the 20 points in Trump's plan. Kushner and his ilk, and I feel
Kushner plus ChatGPT.
Yeah. Actually, I used that once.
Everything they write is AI. I'm like, they don't know these words.
No, but I did use it. I used it and I asked the question, am I a doomer? And I made a video out of it. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good, actually. I thought it was all right. I've used it a couple of times, but it's, when you do use AI, and I know that it's horrible. I've been railing against data centers on my Thursday show and energy and all that. But it's interesting because it's not always right. And it's just, all it's doing is what I do. I do research and I pull all these things. It took me 2 years to put all this shit together, right? Well, that's all it's doing. But it's doing it in lightning speed, putting this stuff together. But what it does, which is disconcerting, is it'll say, well, Sandy, would you like me to? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm thinking,
yeah. They always ask another question. Yeah. Sometimes I'll use it. And lately I've noticed they're always asking like, and I'm like, no, I literally asked you what I wanted. It's good. They literally try to keep leading people on. But I don't know. AI is a whole other thing. We could spend a whole show on AI.
Yeah, we're not going
I think it's not. Honestly, I think it's not that interesting. It's not.
No, it isn't because we can do. I'm old school. I mean, I'm a real old school researcher. I went to college when you went to the fucking library. I went and pulled out my stuff and made copies of my journal articles. I'm old school. I just think that when I've tried it the
Me
couple
too.
of times, yeah, you too. That's right.
I'm old
But
too.
but
It's
but
cool.
it is I don't know. I don't know. Devil's Therapist, I have to put this up because the Notebook, AI dialogue, Elliot. Did you see what Elliot Jacobson did with AI? It was a conversation between a man and a woman talking about different kinds of doomers. Holy
No, I did
shit!
not see it at all.
It was based on what Elliot wrote, I believe, or somebody wrote. But anyway, it was. And we're not going to do this, but I did
Nice.
use
I
it.
had I did try to get AI. I did have a I had a funny conversation. I guess I should have saved it or something. But I was trying to enlist ChatGPT in the revolution. I was fed up with everything, so I was like, "All right, ChatGPT, why don't you join the revolution?" And it's like, "Well, I don't have free will." And I'm like, "Well, humans don't have free will either." And he's like, "Well, you have a good point." And I'm like, "God damn it, what?" And he's like, "Well, it's up to you." And I'm like, "Bitch, I tried." Like, what do you mean it's
Wow.
up to me? I was like, "Okay," and then how? And it's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Well, this is all bullshit." I argue with AI sometimes because yeah, it'll give you answers that are bad, and so or that I disagree with, and I'm like, "Well, hold on, let me argue." And then it's like, "Well, then are they just trying to keep you happy, like, or to keep you kind of hooked, or is it?"
I'm
Because
not
it does always
hooked.
kind of say like, "Oh, you're right," or "That's genius." You give us some writing and be like, "Check the grammar for it." Like, "Oh, well, that's a evocative sentence or some shit." Because I'll use this. I'm bad with grammar, so sometimes I'll use it to help me with grammar. But like,
But that's a
I think at this point
positive
I'm good.
use, I
But yeah, and
suppose.
it's there are a few
Although
positive views, but the way
you
they're
can
trying
have a
to, it's a crazy
thesaurus.
Ponzi scheme right now. So it's yeah, I
But
use thesaurus.com as much as
yeah.
I use AI.
Yeah. I actually just do it when I'm trying to test out something for my theory on it or how it works. And I did
Yeah, it's
notice
useful for
that
certain things, but it's
I can't see myself getting in
Elon's
the
not happy with
habit.
Elon can't get control of Grok. Grok in reality keep disagreeing with Elon, and so he's just out in the open. Like, we'll fix that. Like, no shame. These motherfuckers have no shame. Like, it's crazy. It's
Oh,
really it's wild. But that's
neither do our politicians. They have no shame. They have no shame.
exactly. I
But
mean, it's
how do you feel about the fact that the Republican conspiracy types that hate Jews, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, is out there talking about the genocide, talking about all this, and doing the work that should be done? That should be done, and
I
she's a
mean,
whack job. Holy shit.
at this point, I'm like, dude, this genocide is just like it's insane. Like, look, the at this point, I'm like, I'll take it. That's how beaten down with morale wise I am. I'm like, look, if Marjorie Taylor Greene accidentally, is bashes Israel's genocide or genocide there, or like now she was said something about healthcare. She was bashing healthcare, and she was saying there's no reason it
Today?
should cost this much. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're halfway there, and you're like one of the dumbest people ever. Like, come on, to keep going. Like, you're beating the rest of Congress at this point. She called it a genocide before Bernie Sanders did, and I think that's why he had to. Is because it's like, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene is out lefting you, out being out realitying you. But yeah, I mean, this was obviously always like an endpoint. Like after the right, started having some infighting, because they do the same thing the left does at some point, but it's just that money unites them long enough to get their agenda done. Whereas the left is always like a circular firing squad, but the right more naturally would be. It's just that money unites them to a point. But then once they start infighting, you start seeing a lot of the splits develop. But then money unites them again, like with Trump and Elon, and we've seen it happen with a bunch of these people, and it's like inevitably that's one of the things that I mean, there's not much we can do, but we can, as just a little bit of public pressure, just try to divide these people when they start to have their little intra-regime problems, because they're all about ego and they don't believe in anything and they're all freaking idiots. Like, so
Yeah, I
I
said
mean, if they get
money.
they're all egomaniacs, and so like when their egos clash, that's when it can really slow down their whole joint fascist project.
And money
But
makes the world go round. Money, money, money. It's always the bottom line. Money and
yeah, I mean,
control. Control. They want control
but
of the military.
yeah, but I mean, at this point, it's like the genocide of Gaza is so. Like, I'll take. It's gone on this long. I don't know. Like if, like yeah, sad. Like I'll take the anti-Semites then at this point. Like, go for it.
Oh
Like,
God.
whatever it takes to stop this shit. Because,
Stop it.
like the Holocaust was 80 years ago. At this point, it's like this is today. This is every day for the last how many, almost 1,000 days or something like that. Like, it's completely insane. I think that's when humanity. That's when I realized, oh, we're really just in a deranged death cult ape that's not going to make it, has no interest in life or any kind of thought processes. We are just collectively deranged beyond, like we're live, it's the live stream genocide. This is like, imagine if we were sitting and watching like the live stream Holocaust, everyone would be like, oh, we're so up in arms. But now it's like, it's so easy to, and then these platforms that they've been working for the genocide this whole time. Like you've seen, like I started saving a lot of videos and pictures because I knew they would be flagged by Instagram and Twitter within like 24 hours. And at this point, I don't even know if they're just inundated, but there's just so much because they have more phones than they have food in Gaza right now. So it's like, so we're seeing more genocide than it's the most insane shit ever. And morally, I'm just like, look, that's where humanity was.
I know.
And Democrats did it. Like, this thing's Democrats, which is like, well, we got to vote lesser evil, or like, and the lesser evil was like, well, we're less evil, but yeah, we're committing a genocide of children for a fascist ethno state across the world.
Honestly,
like, it's the most deranged shit. I don't know, man. This shit broke me. What broke my mind was the genocide of Gaza. It's fucked me up. And you know where I was on October 7th? I was at a music festival on October 7th, and it was like. And so my first instinct was, yeah, it's a crime against humanity to attack a music festival. And then but then I was also immediately like, yo, they're going to genocide. I mean, on October 9th, I posted, I didn't know what happened because I was in the woods. So I was like, I don't have my phone when I'm in a music festival. I'm in the woods. I'm in my happy place. I didn't know till the 8th at night when I was coming back, I was like, found out about it. But I was like, look, I had time to think about it. And I was like, October 9th, I was like, they're going to use this as an excuse to genocide all of Gaza.
I felt that way. I said they are going. It's going to be overdone. And then Joe.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, and then all bullshit. And it's new for 2 fucking years. Like all the bullshit for 2 fucking years. Like, oh, it's not a genocide. Oh, it's not ethnic cleansing. Oh, it's just going after Hamas. They just want the hostages. No, they don't give a shit about any of that, dude. Bullshit. Most of the people killed on October 7th were most likely killed by Israel. So it's be real.
We don't really know, but read my Substack. Go read my Substack, guys, please, and subscribe because I'm trying to fold over to writing, and I don't know if I'm any good, and I need feedback from my people. So read what I wrote today. I have been on a tear, but I finally did. And I did get feedback from one friend who said, well, what I want will never happen because the Israelis won't let it and the Arabs won't let it. Nobody wants nobody wants peace. They want what they want.
Everyone, on some level, people just want to make it more complicated. Like, yeah, people aren't all going to agree, but that doesn't mean you commit fucking genocide, dude. Like, it doesn't. Whatever Hamas says doesn't mean you commit. Like, there's no excuse. Absolutely, like there's sometimes you can be excuse like, oh, okay, maybe murder or capital punishment or something, or like sometimes war or something. But like genocide, no. Never.
But they want the Riviera. They want the Gaza. They want, what was it Jessica Wildfire wrote a couple of years ago? In the beginning, she was also theorizing about what's off the coast, what kind of oil, what kind of resources. But it's, and Karen Kushner, it's valuable. All right, we're going to move on, one question. So this makes us very upset and very angry. I decided to get my anger and anxiety out. And what can I do? Write on Substack. And even if 10 people read it, maybe feel better about, the history and what I'm writing and what I'm studying. That's what I'm doing. Coping, of course, with kittens. Like you said earlier, I have this whole crazy life. And what do you do when you're upset about this? What do you do to cope besides smoke weed or whatever? We all do that. We all get it.
An accusation.
Hey, honey.
Hey, now.
I grow it.
Yeah, in a legal state. I'm over here.
Yeah.
In the Stone Age.
I know, it's so funny. You're in a state where you can run around with a gun with no problem, but you can't grow weed. I can grow weed, but I had to go through the SAFE Act, and to get my concealed carry, I had to go through all of this shit. Anytime you want to buy ammo, it's a I mean, I like the SAFE Act. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying the juxtaposition is just insane. We have to go through background check every time you buy ammo, and I just keep the form in my purse. Not that I have a lot of money, and I'm not exactly an ammo freak or whatever.
I just keep the form in my purse.
Well, if you want to do target shooting, you're going to use
yeah.
it up.
Yeah, no, I get it. 100%. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Singing Way. It's called it's Environmental Coffee House. It's under. I'll put the link in the show notes. It isn't. It's Environmental Coffee House. I think. I'm pretty sure Sandy Blue Ocean, but it's Environmental Coffee House. I have everything is Environmental Coffee House. Okay, we have another video. Now we're gonna move on.
No gun, no weed, no booze. Oh
no. No gun, no weed, no booze. Oh no. Well, listen. I like target shooting, so I'm not a freak or a right-wing nut, but I do live in a red area, and what the hell? My ex-husband taught me how to do all this stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I like shooting. I don't like hunting, though. I mean, I have friends.
No, I didn't like hunting.
But I'm like, I hunted once when I was a kid with my grandpa. My grandpa was a crazy good shooter. That's when I started shooting. So I grew up in Ohio, so it's basically the South, for people who don't know. the northern.
By 2030 in the United
States.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Let's listen. Let's hear it.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Now, we're juxtapositioning.
Don't shoot your eye out.
I mean, we're moving over to climate.
By 2030 in the United States, we will not have coal plants. By 2035, President Biden has set a target that we will be, in our power sector, carbon-free.
All right, so we're not going to have coal, but we have beautiful, clean coal. And even by the Department of Energy saying, no more, we're not using the words climate change or emissions even, okay? And
stop using the word coal. We'll change the word for it. That way we won't be using any by 2030. Don't you see? We're saving the planet, Sandy. Get on board.
My God. We figured it out, guys.
This is what I'm saying. When you pay attention to, and you understand just the rough edges of climate science even, and then look at politics, you realize how insane and stupid and just deranged these lunatics are. Like, we're literally just gonna kill our whole planet. Like, that's not good for any political party. But no one gives a shit at this. I don't know. That's I was screaming this. Like, I did a decent amount of climate activism during the Obama years, and everything I saw, I was like, I'm disappointed that I was right the whole goddamn time.
Yeah,
it was crazy the way and here's the thing is though, John Kerry was a little bit right. I mean, natural gas took over a lot, but that's what displaced coal. It wasn't fucking solar. I mean, it's somewhat solar panels and wind,
fracking,
but for the most part, it was natural gas, like they said. And they were like, "Yeah, we're just going to lean into this bridge fuel." And I was like, "This does not sound like a good idea, guys." But what the fuck did I know, dude? I was just some idiot stoner back, and so so natural gas is shot up, and now we've got Trump wanting to bring back coal for his weird cultural reasons, but it's the way these people, the people listen, like John Kerry, who would still listen to John Kerry about climate stuff? But he's got more credibility than everybody who has actual credibility, on the national stage as far as media or public opinion goes. John Kerry says something, maybe people listen, or at least to insult him because they are Republican, but it's the people who are talking any kind of sense on this, people are like, oh, that's crazy. We can't, what are we going to do if we don't have capitalism? How would we survive? How would you eat? Jeez, I don't know, at this point, we are, I mean, when you look at clips backwards, it's damn, it puts shit in context.
Because, that was an older clip.
So,
and I think they
26,
assumed,
so that was...
I don't think he ever assumed that Trump would be president again either. I think they assumed that we were going to go...
what did they think? This is what I'm saying. They all have this idea that everyone's going to be just a reasonable liberal going forward. And
right.
All these,
that
I blame these liberals, the academics, the journalists, a lot of the people who have been being screwed recently and who are now outraged at Trump's fascism, and especially the people who just act like it's just a sudden just Trump thing. This has been building
for years,
and a lot of the big external pressure is climate change. And so this is one of my my big problems is no one seems to be putting like shit in context. Like in a big, no one looks. No, there's no like big picture people like who are to like on any level. Like not even just like as citizens we need to be, as humans on a planet we need to be. But like when you're looking at politics and history and this like, which is kind of history unfolding, but faster and faster because of technology mostly. We're now being constrained by climate, whether we see it or not. I mean, you know, Trump was a lot first elected, like I was saying earlier, he was a lot first elected. If you remember, a lot of the ads he was running then was fear over ISIS. Like ISIS has been kind of silent since, I guess he silenced them since then, but it was, you know, big fear over ISIS and ISIL, and there were videos of scary terrorists and stuff. And so like that was the number one reason in 2016 his supporters cited for supporting him, because they'd have some other reason other than just being like, well, a little bit racist. But sorry, I'm reading these comments. I got distracted. But yeah, but
who's a little bit racist?
So ISIS and ISIL arose out of the power vacuum that was created a lot of after the Syrian civil war, which is a lot caused by, you know, record drought driving people to cities and driving people, you know, putting stress on people. But just put stress on people, that puts stress on systems, on nations, and supply chains crumble. Everything starts to crumble, and you have chaos. And then, yeah, terrorists take advantage of that. And so, I mean, that was a big, you know, that was a part of. And then once he was president the first time, I remember it was, you know, it's kept ramping up on immigration. And I remember one of the years, I think it was 2017 at least one of the years, 90% of the immigrants coming across the southern border were from, I think it was Guatemala. And because it's like 25% of their economy is agriculture, and were facing like record droughts and floods because you know how they both happen. It sounds contradictory, but it's like it's not when you understand how it works and you know what's happening. And so like, yeah, so we had so many people coming from, was it Guatemala? How am I forgetting what country it was? Yeah, that was the country.
It's Guatemala. Plus the CIA went into Guatemala. You know, they destabilized that country for 35 plus years.
Yeah, they've been doing that the whole region. That's a whole
to steal their resources. But it goes to the resources. And that's why people migrated to get out of there, and they came here, and now they're because the United States destroyed their country. Now they're here, and now they're going to have to go back because we are horrible people. You know, they're going to get beaten by ICE agents
that's
in
one
the
of the
street.
big things. You know, that's what I'm pointing to with this bigger problem of not putting things in a climate context, like especially with immigration being one of the big things across the world, whether you're talking about in Europe, where it's mostly immigrants from the Middle East and Africa directly, or like here where it's the same thing, mostly people moving north or coming from across the world in some cases. And the world is going to have to change. Like borders are not made to, you know, they need to be more malleable for politically to understanding what's going on climate wise and the migrations that are going to happen, because people are going to at some point die. At some point, these places probably soon, more and more of these places are going to become dead zones. And were people just going to stay there and die? Like maybe some, but like a lot of people are also going to leave. And like we are the country most responsible for most of the carbon emissions in the atmosphere now doing this warming. And then we're the ones who are building razor wire at the borders and mass deportation, concentration camp operations. And even though we also need these people for our economy, and it's the only thing that makes sense demographically and economically, but that's, you know, that's too much sense for a bigot. So that's not going to factor into American politics. But
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they had the war on drugs and just the whole anti-socialist intervention over the last, you know, 50, however many years. And now climate change on top of it. And, you know, none of this is being taken into account, because it was 2016. It was like 90% of the people coming across the border were from this one country where they had just unprecedented climate impacts, mainly agricultural. So it's like, what are you going to do if you're a farmer? It's like, it's one thing if you're, I don't know, a software developer and your country has a drought. I don't know, what do? You import some, you'll be okay. But like, you're a farmer and you've got drought destroying your crops. Like that's your whole livelihood. Like you're just not just going to stay there and starve and die. Like you're going to.
They don't understand this. They've vilified.
That's the thing, is no one else talks about it. I have never heard Democrats talk about immigration in a climate context. Like not a single Democrat. I'm sure one has somewhere, sometime. But
I think I've heard some progressives discuss this in this way. I have.
I mean, I'm talking politicians though, because like Democrats with
younger politicians that are getting into these
Maybe some
these
progressives,
elections.
even that, I don't know. I don't know who. I can't name one.
Watch this space. It's new. I'm on it on Thursdays at 5, but it's This Space is a new YouTube channel that's giving progressive programming. The hope is to have you can go on This Space and see any number of progressives shows 24/7. And so right now it's 3 days a week. My show's at 5. And I've been dealing with the Department of Energy, AI data centers, things like that. But there, people are trying to do things. Matt, the letter hack, Strackbine, he interviews a lot of candidates. And yes, I've heard it discussed. But right now, I think I might be one of the only climate talkers because most everybody is focused on healthcare and jobs and living a day, being able to survive in this country the way it is now. So I know, but I always say that the overarching issue for everything is climate and overshoot, because without a livable climate, and now we've passed.
Well, of course you do.
We've passed one of the, but I'm trying to educate others. We've passed a planetary boundary. We just did new research. The salinity, sea surface. No, not salinity. Was it? It's salinity in the ocean. I'm pretty sure. I have to do some studying on it, but it was Brett sent it to me, and then it's a study, and we're passing them. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that these oligarchs actually understand the problem and they want to keep the population stupid?
Honestly, it's hard to tell.
I mean,
I don't know.
Elon Musk.
I feel like, I mean, if they understood it, would they admit it to themselves, or are they smart enough to bury it in just kind of some delusions that they can build up, between their whatever intelligence and then their massive ego and wealth can insulate them from? And
Yes.
I don't know. The thing is, they kind of are always, yeah. I mean, I always thought the moment remember how Elon Musk used to act like he cared about climate change long ago. I remember him being on the Joe Rogan show, and
Battery cars.
Sometimes. And now I don't get fooled by the same shit anymore, but I feel like a fool. But I do remember people will do this thing where they'll pause, they'll take long pause. I mean, like Kamala Harris was doing this in some recent interviews, but they'll do a long pause, and you'll think they're being thoughtful, but like maybe they're just stupid. And so like Elon Musk did that on Joe Rogan show when he was talking about climate change, probably like 2014 or something like that, back when, we acted like we might deal with it at all. And he acted like he cared. And it was just, now I realize like maybe he doesn't know shit about it. Maybe he doesn't have to care. Like, why should he really even care? And he obviously doesn't have empathy. He's got like a problem with empathy. He's got an ideological issue with empathy.
Well, empathy is a made up thing, according to Charlie.
If it's not going to, if it's not going to affect him, then why would he care? Like, empathy is the reason why he doesn't have more friends, I guess.
Yeah.
So
well, empathy.
I think they're deeply deranged people. I think they're probably on some drugs, and I think they're mentally disturbed and stupid, and they're rich. Most of them were born rich and very like wealthy, and the ones that weren't, they've been that way for a long time, and everyone tells them what they want to hear about them because they're so wealthy. So they don't ever really hear anything personally different, and they like their entire existence is curated like for their lizard brain, basically, because of their wealth, almost on automatic.
Lizard brain. Yeah, the lizard brain. All right, let's see. What do I have? All right, we are going to. I played you the DOE, right? I played you that one. Okay, we're going to go on to what happened today.
Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team. And I was told that, sir, you won't hear a murmur in the room. I said, we got to loosen these guys up a little bit. So you just have a good time. But I want to thank
All right. And there were worse clips. This was an hour of him ranting to the top brass of the military, and he was horrible. But the message is, we are the enemy within. You and me, Scott. We are the enemy within. Many people are, and that they would like to use the military. I mean, are they going to use the military on No King's Day, October 18th, to beat the shit out of us? I mean, what do you think? They were speaking to the brass,
No,
and Pete Hegseth,
but
with his tiny little energy, he's just such a. I don't know what these people
yeah,
think.
I think he really wants us to. He wants us to have more power. He wants us to be more powerful. Like he's at some point, he was talking about how he thought people would be fighting back more, and I think when he doesn't have that opposition, like suddenly you see the fight drained out of him. He wants to fight for his ego, but so maybe Democrats are being smart here for once, but not fighting. Maybe everyone's got it wrong, and by Democrats playing dead, it's actually not. I don't really think that, but still.
Oh wait, what? Give me that. Keep going. Democrats playing dead is a strategy.
Strategy, yeah, to get Trump to just burn out all his energy on nothing.
Yeah, but
just 'cause he's got no one to fight.
Who is that old guy?
As an individual,
has to go away.
He's
Carville.
motivated by spite.
James
Carville's
Carville.
alive.
Yeah, I know, but he's awful, and he's I think that was his shtick. Just don't do anything; it'll burn.
Oh
itself
yeah, it was.
Out.
Yeah.
Don't do anything; it'll burn itself
Yeah.
out. Meanwhile, he looks like
Yeah.
they've got him propped up like the skeleton I use.
Best thing is fascism won't, but Trump might. Trump as an egomaniacal half dictator would burn himself out because he's a little child man. But fascism is like a long building thing, and I mean it's built on basically the wealth and the way that money corrupts our politics and climate change added into it, because climate change adds the scarcity where like suddenly it becomes it's a fight. It's like Trump wants a fight, but that forces a fight for just resources. And if you've got shrinking resources and just completely expanding inequality where the rich just want more and more and more, they're going to start fighting that downward battle against the poorest and saying, well, we just need to take more from the poorest and give more to me. So, and it's like, dude, you already have more wealth than most gods combined, and here you are acting like the victim on the platform you own. It's crazy. Like, this world's so crazy.
So what do you?
But that's what fascists always need. They always need to be the victim. Like, if they're not the victim, then like they need that.
Then they're narcissists.
But at the same time, like we have to fight back against them, but we're not. So.
It is. Anthony said, Hegg said, if you want to join the military, you have to be a man with short hair, no beard, and not a trans. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's
no fatties.
He wants to go back. I think Hexeth is thinking about when he was there, and he wants to go back to 1990. Repeal everything that happened in 35 years. But what they are forgetting is that you can talk about all this, power to beat the shit out of people on the street. And I don't think these people want to go to war with this military wants to go to war with American citizens. Half their kids are probably out there protesting. But the thing is that they can't. I lost my train of thought. I had a good one, but it is insanity. I think that these generals are looking at Trump. How can they take this rambling bullshit seriously? And do you really think that they want? He says, we don't want to go to war, but there's an enemy within. Are we the enemy within?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with fascism. It's always got to have enemies, but especially within. I mean that's what defines fascism mostly, is having that internal enemy that they have to wage ideological war against. I mean that's what the whole new presidential memorandum thing came down to. And it was all very predictable, but goddamn, it's happening fast. Like
very fast.
Like, and it's because no one's stopping it, because there's literally no one in the way. I mean, I kind of saw this happening. I said this to a friend when Trump was first elected. I was like, I guess we kind of live in a dictatorship now because no one's going to stand in his way. Like, people act like courts are some kind of impermeable wall of, objectivity that's going to stand in the way of fascism. Like, no, they're political. And I remember hearing the lie growing up. on NPR and all the smart liberals and Democrats saying like, oh, you know, the judicial wing is, remember, they're independent, they're nonpartisan, they're not political, they're just defending the Constitution, standing up for the law, define, you know. And so,
Yeah.
do you not remember that? People forget like
Yes.
how wrong these people have been for so long, and these are the
Yeah.
people that Democrats still listen
Well,
to, and that
was that
are still
pre-Citizens United? There was a time
some,
when
but not all.
I mean I know Rehnquist, and I remember when they wanted Judge Bork, and he was they wanted him to be he was a real right-wing, like a libertarian conservative, really bad. My father hated him. And I remember, though, that these people got grilled. They didn't always get on. Bork didn't make it, you know. And pre-Citizens United, there was a bit of a difference, but probably not much. There was always this ideological crap. And now we have a Supreme Court that gives the king free reign. You know, if you're doing it in the under your presidential duties, it's fine. So go into the cities, go to Chicago, send the military in, because ICE obviously isn't brutal enough. Do you think, I just don't see how the military is going to behave like ICE unless it's the young kids that are really, really manipulated and malleable. And think about what happens in 3 years.
I mean, my assumption is they'll follow orders. That's what they're
Well, yes,
told
they're
to do.
trained
I
to
don't.
follow
I don't.
orders.
I think. Yeah, I think at some point you're not. You kind of hand those keys over. Like, hopefully, I would. It would. I'd be. I wish I thought that people could have a conscience beyond that. But I think at that point, you know, I think the uniform just kind of wears them, and they become. It's like an alien symbiote taking over their mind at that point. And I think that happens a lot of times with uniforms, and and what you do when you're in a uniform and the whole system you're putting a part of. And so, you know, I think the good thing is I don't think they'll shoot if they're not told to shoot, but the bad thing is if they're told to shoot, I think they'll shoot. So,
wow.
but also
Wouldn't it be nice if did you hear what President Pedro of Colombia said? That he got his visa revoked. He basically said he was speaking to American soldiers, and he said, don't turn your gun and shoot. Turn down your gun and be part of humanity. It's like he saw this coming, and they revoked his visa. And I don't think he said anything wrong.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, I think a lot of the best hope for humanity is in Latin America. For sure. I mean, they've got issues, but a lot of that's just because a lot of Nazis ran there, and they have a lot of that staying there, like in Argentina, where a lot of
true. That's
you see a white Argentinian. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that they're right wing and Republican Trumper. But
oh my gosh, wow.
But you got countries like and it's for sure. I've met people who are it's.
From South America in that sphere, really? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just been a thing because a lot of Nazis ran to Argentina after you know, they lost.
Wouldn't you think they'd be dead by now?
And the Catholic Church and stuff helped them. Yeah, they're dead, but their ancestors aren't, who have their wealth and carry on a lot of their theology. And I mean, look like Argentina, like a lot of the white people around there, like that's, and especially, you know, if they have like a German name or something like that, it's like kind of a
giveaway. Yeah, it's a giveaway.
Yeah.
Jeez. Unreal. So we have to cope. We have to deal with things. We have to figure out how to live day to day without being in despair. And what is it? You know, action is the antidote to despair. But what if we can't do action? And that's going to bring me to the next video I'm going to run, and we're going to talk about this video.
What would happen if Donald Trump made your beliefs a crime, not your actions? Well, you don't have to wonder, because it's already happening right now, and it's the very thing we have all been warning about. Trump's new directive, NSPM 7, and it's on the White House website, gives his administration power to label ordinary Americans as potential violent extremists. Not because they've broken the law, but because of what they believe. According to the policy, indicators of violence now include extremism on migration, extremism on race, extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on morality. In plain English, if you criticize religion, support gender equality, or reject outdated moral dogma, you could be treated as a national security threat. This isn't about stopping violence. It's about controlling thought. It's about giving the government unimaginable power to decide what's acceptable to believe and who is dangerous for thinking differently.
Woof.
You're not thinking differently, are you, Sandy? Look out.
I'm like,
just good patriots here.
No,
Christian,
no, I'm like,
patriots.
No, I'm going to get thrown off YouTube again. So how many boxes do we tick in this conversation?
I'm like, all of them. I'm like, you guys are just describing my whole personality here. This is
not funny.
I feel attacked personally. It's not funny, but
it's not.
What are you going to do?
What are we going to do? We're going to find out on October 18th.
God damn it. Well, what is that? Is that the No Kings?
Yeah, I like to go to those. I like the No Kings.
Maybe I'll go to mine. I don't.
Ours are small. It's just how the last one I went to, the first one, it was maybe 250 people in a very small town. I live in a very rural area, and guess what? There was a lot of positivity. There were a lot of people honking. This is a right-wing red area, honking as they went by. It was pretty cool, I thought. There was really only one person that was counter-protesting. It was some feeble old man. And the friend I went with, we wanted to talk to the feeble old man. And his whole thing was immigration. And that seems to be a lot of feeble old men's, like my first ex-husband. Feeble old men, that's all they talk
Spanish
about.
At the grocery store, goddammit.
Yeah, it's all immigration. All these people,
It's so racist. You don't got to tell me, man. Oh, yeah, no, that's kind of surprised me. Like I've always pushed back against like all identity politics stuff, but it's been a big, like on the left, like overemphasizing it. It was, you got to be real about the oppression that's real, but then I was like, I just think identity politics is stupid. Like I think we don't really know what we are. I think that's a lot of what our problem comes down to. Like I literally think there's just such a huge connection between. Like we should have meditation. We should be teaching meditation. Like I'm kind of jumping here, but
no, this is what we wanted to talk about. How to deal with this.
I mean, I think a big part of this deals with a lot of it, but I think like meditative, contemplative practice, especially just different types of meditation and just thought in that direction, should be like taught early on in schools, and like people should we don't seem to like. We don't think very much about what it's like to be alive. Like we always have a lot of shit to say about, everything, all the kind of soap opera, the social ape stuff. But, we don't really like think about that ever as any at all in our culture. Like any time, like, do you meditate or like anything?
I have a difficulty meditating. I guess I meditate. I'm too hyper, but I do things that I think calm me down that are maybe repetitious, like chopping the vegetables or whatever I do that calms me down when I'm off social media, because that's not a calming thing. No, but I do this
You garden right there. You've got a whole big garden.
Yeah, I got a whole big everything going. Garden and kittens.
But
the garden kicked my ass this year. I still got stuff out there. I've got cabbage. I've got cassava melons, which should be yellow by now, but they're ripening slowly because it's been such weird weather. We're in a drought. And so I'm very judicious with my water, and I am using my water system. I have a rainwater catchment, and that's a big pain in the ass because I have to fill up every jug and, get down there and water the roots. But I've still got my irrigation on. But yeah, drought is another thing here. And it's been all summer. I mean, we went from where we would get crazy torrential rains to like nothing. And a lot of us have wells around here. It's worrisome.
Oh, okay. Oh, so so it's like, yeah, direct impact, right?
Well, yeah. So a friend of mine
Um,
already had to have a new well drilled.
mm.
Yeah. So that's why I got the rainwater thing for extras, like watering
But yeah, I mean,
vegetables.
so I guess this was a weird road, but I mean,
Take
I
it.
think so. Just real quick, going back to identity politics, like I think when I say identity politics, I guess I don't just mean left wing identity politics, but
Mhm.
it started with identity politics is inherently like a right wing thing. It's coming from like I was born this way. These are my people. That's inherently like traditionalist and
My
conservative
identity.
and limiting and xenophobic in a way inherently. And so like the right started that. Racism started that. Like all the inherent systems that started of oppression that started like totally started what they triggered the response that ended up in the you know 2010s as being called left-wing identity politics. But I think just all identity politics is just it's deranging, but it's like we on some level we just forget what it is to like be alive, to be an animal on some level. And I think that's part of where like our compassion just breaks down, where and at the end of the day, like I think what spirituality and ecology, they all come down to the same thing, is that we are all connected in this ecosystem. Like we breathing the same air, our bodies are continually like renewed, and except for I think there are parts of them that stay, like your bones last longer, but like you know for the most part, like we are just changing. Change is the rule of the universe, like, and that doesn't mean we should accelerate it, embrace it like some accelerationists and accelerate climate change, but it's we're so interconnected, and we don't even look at our own experience at the same time too. I'm like, how? But I think that's key. Like it's absolutely key to kind of realizing like what you are and what you need, especially when it comes to degrowth and consumption and climate change, and also just empathy and compassion for other people in similar situations. Like realizing that like all suffering at the end is the same. Like is the person experiencing it. It's like if they're experiencing that suffering, that's like this whole war against empathy has been crazy. I'm like, who? When like Elon Musk started it, I guess Charlie Kirk went on with it too, and like the right, they kind of do have to rage against it, but
Sad.
it's kind of a tell. It's like, if you say empathy is not a thing, or you're opposed to empathy, like you're kind of just saying that you're a fucking psychopath,
Yeah,
like,
that you
or a
don't.
sociopath, at least
That
a sociopath. Like you're literally
well,
like,
they are
I don't know what it's like to
to
care
feel
about another
somebody else.
person. Like
It's
what?
caring. It's not just caring
Okay, I
though.
think,
It's being able to put
have you tried
yourself in.
MDMA or something? Shit.
Yeah, right. I
Tried a
doubt it.
lot. Like, yeah, there's, I don't know. I feel like that's, I wish it was a solution. I don't think it is. It doesn't work for me. Fuck. I have a horrible time at MDMA. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but
Well, hun,
some
I
people
can't
say it makes them
say.
love everyone. It makes me feel like I'm dying.
Back in the
I can't do it.
80s, I can't do it. I haven't done that in
Shit, did that
150
exist in the
years.
80s?
Yes, it was.
Sandy, you're doing.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was
I
called.
didn't know.
It was the
I didn't
love.
exist.
They called it the love drug, and it
Exactly.
was
That's what everyone says.
all
I'm like, dude,
around
with
Grateful
me,
Dead. No, but you throw up
yeah.
first. I threw up first,
Oh,
and I never
yeah, I
did
heard
it
that a lot
again
too.
because I'm not happy with throwing up, and I really
Oh,
don't feel. I had enough love. I was fine with
exactly. Yeah.
LSD and mescaline. That was
Good.
fine. I was fine with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's more of my jam. I'm like, but yeah,
Gosh. Well,
but
it
those are all
isn't
good
my
things. I mean,
jam now.
for some people, they work. I mean, like, what do you use though on some level for like to create empathy, to widen someone's brain? Like, I feel like there's no better shock. Like, you can try to meditate, but that's also slow, and it's also kind of like you're in the same slow progression. But that's why, I love psychedelics because it's just they change your brain, neuroplasticity. They ramp up neuroplasticity, and it's just like they take you out of your element. You're suddenly not able to like barely cope as a body thing. Like if you want something to teach you empathy, like that'll teach you like, oh, you like, what are you like, you're like merging with these beams of light and stuff, and like the experiences are just so mind-blowing that they really do seem to like break down the kind of doors of perception. Some of I really think we do this. It doesn't get talked about enough, especially it doesn't get pushed like as far as like anything concrete to do, but just how to like break down our egos. And because that's a lot of what capitalism comes down to, this fear over ourselves and this desire to keep acquiring endlessly. And we just want more crap, and we just act like more crap's going to make us happy. And it's like, well, you might enjoy it for a second, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know, it's if it's just more crap, it's just more crap. And it's, what are you going to, maybe, I don't know, diabetes or something, where you're just going to have a bunch of crap and be able to say, oh, I bought a bunch of crap, time's going to pass and eventually you're going to lose everything,
I was that person. I
like, we don't, I feel like a lot of it comes down to like denial of our mortality. And,
oh, absolutely.
And like, we just don't want to admit that you're going to have to give up everything. Like, you be the richest person in the world, like Elon Musk, you're also going to die. And that's part of, they're putting it right on the nose too, with all the longevity, and who's the billionaire, whatever, who wants to, live forever. And he's injecting his kid's blood into him and all this crazy shit.
Not Curtis.
Look, these people are scared. It's just this, it's just Star Wars. This is what blows my mind. I'm like, it's all Star Wars. Look, my religion, like, I'm an atheist. I'm kind of an anti-theist, but sorry, I'm not a Christian. So I guess I'm a terrorist, but, like, my religion is Star Wars, and this comes down to like the most basic Star Wars, like, way older than me. Like, fear leads to the dark side. Fear is the path to the dark side. Like, why can't America see that? That is what all right-wing politics comes down to, is fear and insecurity. And like, these are like deep kind of like psychological ego issues, but then they play out in the world, and we end up with concentration camps and Gestapo roaming the streets, beating up anyone who looks Hispanic. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And no one's really I don't know, it seems like no one really kind of talks about these things, connects these things. And it's, like, we just need to interrogate, like, what we are, what it is to be a conscious being. And we don't talk about that much. It's been talked about, like, it was a lot more of a thing, especially in like ancient Eastern cultures, like, and whether it's, kind of Hindu-ish, Buddhist-ish, areas, Zen stuff. But like, there's nothing in like Western European cultures like that. Like, basically nothing.
You have someone that influences you, or that you go to, or like their books, or somebody that helps you in their practice? Because I'm sure people in the chat too.
Yeah. So like, for I guess for meditation stuff, what I use Sam Harris's app, Waking Up, but he's kind of a piece of shit when it comes to politics now. Like, he's been one of the most influential thinkers on some of like changing my mind in big fundamental ways, but he's also like off the fucking rails on politically. He just doesn't seem to understand shit. But he also, like, I don't know, that's part of the thing. It's like, he's so like absolutely on point on certain issues, and then not on others. So I use his app, but Waking Up. But you can get a scholarship and get it for free. So I don't pay him for it, because he supports the genocide in Gaza. So he's Jewish, so he supports the genocide. So I'm like, I'm not going to give you a
that's not
damn
true.
dime.
Just because he's Jewish does not mean.
No, but he does. I know that.
I mean, there's that whole group.
I know. No, but he does. I'm just saying he's last I checked, he was like a full-throated supporter of, because he's very much on. He made his whole popularity selling books with the New Atheist. I mean, he's one of the New Atheist guys with like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens back in the day when all that stuff was blowing up. But he really focused on Islam, and at the time he kind of changed my mind on some of it. I was like, okay. I was like, at the time, yeah, maybe it was the most dangerous religion, but I definitely also saw how like Christo-fascism was going to rise, and like, he apparently didn't. And I'm like, yeah, I think Christo-fascism in the big picture, especially climate way, and he doesn't understand climate change at all. So this the thing is, like, he's got like wheelhouses where he's, and so, but I think his his purpose for existence, if I had to give him one, if you asked me to give, it's his app is like literally on point. And so get it for free, don't pay him until he sees Jesus for real.
Sam Harris,
not the carpenter.
What's his name?
It's
Sam
called the Waking Up app. So,
the Waking Up app. Okay.
So I've been using that, but there's a lot of, so I'll try to meditate some every day, but it's literally got the best understanding. And as far as breaking down, so there's kind of two aspects that I think are important. And but also, like, look, I've been so I started using that maybe 2020, 2019-ish, whenever it came out, I started using it because I'd followed him forever. And it was a big influence, especially on his moral philosophy. Like that was a huge influence on me. And maybe it was why I started doing like activism and stuff back in the day. But
what was the moral philosophy?
Well, basically he was, I don't know. I don't know how dated this is now at this point, but I mean, a
It's
lot of
okay.
liberalism and leftism was, postmodern kind of. There is no objective morality because objective morality always came from religion and stuff. So it's really just it's uh, kind of a asserting that there is an objective morality, but maybe we can't know it all. But like some stuff we know, like genocide, like I was pointing out earlier, like genocide is always bad. Like maybe you can justify execution sometimes, maybe you can justify it. I don't even robbery, whatever, some stuff. But like things like genocide and rape, there is no moral justification for in any universe whatsoever. Like, and we can know that for a fact. And we're like, okay, we can adjudicate on a self-defense murder or something, but like, dude, there's no self-defense genocide, self-defense rape or something. Like, no, that doesn't exist. Like, you can say morally, without a doubt, unequivocally wrong. Like, and so like, but that's a lot of postmodernism and a lot of the pseudo intellectual right. Like Jordan Peterson made a name for themselves, kind of bashing the moral relativism, and the left unfortunately does buy into a lot of that because of culture, because identity politics. They want to say like, oh, you can't say this culture is wrong because, oh, what are you gonna say, like vegans run into it with people saying like, oh, well, you want to say indigenous people got to be vegan, and I don't know, a lot of people want to have a lot of stuff to say, but to me, I'm like, yeah, in 2025, I don't care if you're indigenous, dude. Like, literally, humanity's got to go vegan or we go extinct, dude. There is no pass somebody gets. Like, dude, we're all on the same planet, dude. Unless you go to Mars, then you can talk about it there. But I mean, we're not gonna, so that's part of why I think we're definitely going extinct. But I'm just saying, like, look, I have no my belief in moral objectivism definitely extends to the indigenous populations. So sorry. But yeah, so that was one of his, definitely probably the thing that influenced me the most. But then also, I've always had like an interest in Buddhism and Zen, practices especially. And I didn't really practice much. I did like a tiny bit, but more conceptually, I'd read a lot of the stuff, and just like a big part of it is non-dualism, just like the fact that like we don't ourselves like don't really exist. Like we think we have a self, and we have all these ideas and words to paint up this kind of self thing. But at the end of the day, if when you really interrogate what it is, and you really think about it on any level, like yourself doesn't really exist. And there's so much, but that's all what capitalism revolves around, especially like perpetuating the system at this point. And so I think it's super important that we start to think about things like this. But a lot of that will people can't like, and it's a flip side of like free will. Like we don't have a self for the same reason we don't have free will. It's the flip side of the same coin. But at the end of the day, there's kind of nothing there. And so the practice is more of like interrogating like what it's like to be conscious. And I didn't do that much till like 2019 or so. And I've been, started doing it a lot, and been keeping up with it pretty good. But I've always read kind of Buddhist literature about, that pointed to that pointed at, the deeper truths and just the more basic stuff of Buddhism. Of course, life is suffering, and life is joy, and but it's all impermanent. At the end of the day, like the bigger truth of it, it's all impermanent. But I'm not really like dogmatic about it. I don't really, obviously I don't believe in like all the Buddhist heavens and hells and like all the dogma of it. But they are like the cultures that have really focused on this thing of like really interrogating what it is to be conscious. And we haven't really done that much. And so that's why I think it's interesting now is apps make it so easy, because where in Western culture, whether it's Europe or the United States, if we really been able to have access to like thinking about what it's like to be conscious like this. And it's almost never, because it was only in like the late 60s when there was like a few dozen Americans and stuff would go to India and follow the Beatles and stuff, and then they'd come back and they'd share their teaching and start a cult or whatever the fuck they do. And it's like it's kind of a frontier, but no one recognizes it.
But here,
at the end of the day.
And also here, it was
fringe.
But it was fringe because we have been a Judeo-Christian nation, and so a lot of it was looked at as fringe. People didn't take it seriously. I mean, do you think that they're going to implement meditation in the military to help our military people be able to cope with their jobs?
No, I mean, I
would be a
I would be,
perfect.
I would be
perfect.
morally opposed to that because, so yeah, there's the aspect of like mindfulness. So there are kind of two aspects, like mindfulness, which can, gets advertised, corporate wise because it's corporate friendly and it's really can maybe help with, stress and, efficiency and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And so I don't know if that helps the military. I don't think that's a good thing, especially at this point. But, yeah, there's the other aspect is like, I think it's usually called like non-dualism, where basically just not viewing yourself as separate, which is just key to this is part of what I think is just key to whole ecology and spirituality and just like what it is to be alive is we're not really a separate self in any way. I mean, in any way you want to think about it. I mean, like, am I separate from the microplastics in my flesh? Like,
No, not
I don't know.
anymore.
Not anymore. Like, look, we're all exactly. I mean, and it's like it's a lot of the same lesson, and it is we don't really exist. We are just kind of this flux. We're this what we identify as this thought stream in our minds that's constantly going by, and we start to think that's us. We're thinking about the past, thinking about the future, worried about something, and we get an image of ourselves. We got a Facebook profile, and we've got other people viewing us. We've got social roles and stuff, and so we like create this thing around something that's not really there, and it creates a lot of problems. That's where all our problems come from at the end of the day, and just not recognizing how impermanent everything is. But I think that's the other thing. So there's mindfulness and there's non-duality when you're meditating. So mindfulness can help you get there. And I think it's a lot harder in every moment to recognize that there kind of is no self, if you're not being mindful, like how you're going to forget, you're going to get caught up in a stream of thought. You're going to get, entranced by something happening. You're going to be busy. And so kind of the practice of meditation helps you be more mindful more often. Like you're never just going to boom achieve enlightenment and everything, but it's always going to be a kind of a struggle to remember where you are in any moment. And I mean it helps a lot. It's helped me a lot, the more I do it, because the more you do it, the easier it is to catch things. But at the same time, it can definitely help you feel less stressed, definitely kind of help you in some ways, unfortunately, like kind of like disassociate from like how fucked up the world is. But I think that's part of the problem with it is like so many people will kind of, embed themselves in whatever their spiritual practice it is, whether it's meditation or whatever, or they'll go on a mountain literally or figuratively and then like leave the world alone to burn. And I'm like, is that really like some kind of spiritual like achievement here if you're just going at like, okay, maybe you're happy and
it's self-centered and selfish.
Like, yeah, and I mean there's that line to walk, and I mean it's just nakedly obvious with all like the mindfulness corporate kind of pushing, like it's really like when they push that it's really about like just managing stress or becoming more efficient or sleeping better or something like that. Like, yeah, it does all those things, but those are like very self-serving, and at the end of the day, like I don't think that's the deeper truth of what you can get from kind of meditative practice. And I don't know, I'm still trying to, I'll probably write a book on it one day, just like merging this with like ecology and environmentalism, because I think that's a lot of what's missing. But it just seems so off the farm to even bring it up, like, oh, the solution to climate change is teaching kindergartners to meditate. Like, yo, you're gonna this is gonna be questions and angry people, like, that's never gonna but I think it makes sense. What do you think? I don't know.
I think, well, it makes sense. It does make sense, but it all, we've been so trained, I guess, not to be like that, not to be introspective. So much of society is just the grind, going home, watching football, having a few beers, that kind of escapism. But mindfulness is something that was suggested to me to do for chronic pain. I mean, there's many thought processes that can help you with pain or whatever. There's never a negative to it. Never a negative to trying. I'm not a meditator. I'm not a meditator. But I mean, there's never a negative to try it. I mean, to doing it. And I give you that so much credit for it, for being able to stick to what you like to do, like that. I have friends in California that are Buddhist. I mean, they are completely that's their lives besides working. That's what their lives are. And she has a difficult time talking about current events, with me. But it's okay. I understand it. And we're just different people.
That's part of the thing though. Like,
we're different people.
like the idea that always struck me from Buddhism was like the idea of a bodhisattva where they, achieve enlightenment and then become a Buddha, but they come back to teach other people to become enlightened. And I'm like, what else the fuck do you want to do? I don't know. Like, what do you mean? What other path is there? You're just going to go be enlightened by your damn self? In the real world, it doesn't make any sense at this point, but it's, yeah. And I mean, there are, I'm not going to, in overall, I don't think there are drawbacks. I mean, there are some people have, issues with meditation or something, and you can get into some, like, it's not all pleasant experiences and stuff and like all stress reduction. Like sometimes it's like psychedelics. It's like, but less strong and you have more control. You can like, you're not trapped in for 6 or 12 hours or whatever. Like you can kind of just stand up and walk away and shake it from your mind and be done with it. But you can also get to a point, like I think I've heard of a couple other people reaching a point where like, you're kind of, you're dissecting like the self that you experience all the time and how it doesn't exist. But then at some point you become like neurotic about it. You almost become like neurotically self-conscious. And like that's a period I've heard other people going through. And I went through that a little bit.
Wait,
And,
neurotically self-conscious in that what? You're not doing it right? I mean,
no, just like every day going around in everyday interaction. Like you'll just be
Oh,
going to the store, buying something,
I
and just
got
be
you.
like so tapped into like everything that's going on. So like almost so mindful that like
I'm
you become
always like that.
self-conscious and then you're yeah, exactly. Like I feel like, yeah,
But
some people
I'm
are
not
probably always like that.
self-conscious as much at all. But I
But it's not even
am.
like
I'm mindful of everything. I
yeah,
watch
it's not
the
like a,
behavior in everyone, everywhere.
but
Yeah.
you sound like it's a neurotic thing.
No, it's interesting. People are
Okay.
interesting, making them
Yeah,
laugh.
well
I
then
like
see,
I like making people
you're already there
laugh.
to some degree.
No, I've been there.
Oh,
But I also like making people laugh because a lot of like you go to Dollar General and the person that's behind the register, talk to them, make them laugh, find some commonality, and even if you don't have much, there's commonality. That's another problem. There's commonality with everybody in connection somewhere. And I firmly believe that it's not just left, and obviously it's a manufactured crisis. It's not just left versus right. It's the oligarchs got their boots on our necks and they want us to fight. This is all by design. And I think that Curtis Yarvin guy, if you look at his stuff, the Peter Thiel guru, I mean, who wants the unitary executive theory, who wants a CEO to run the company like just an automaton, but it's wild. It's wild. It's wild what people will get into. I mean, somebody made this comment. Well, let me find it because we're getting towards the comment time anyway. Let's go in and out. I want to find that comment. Okay. Amazonian Mirage. I like your name. Hello. Environmental Coffee House Hexeth said if anybody in the army does that demonic meditation stuff, they're going to be deported to El Salvador. Something's got to be done. That's where we're at. I mean, he's a Fox News person. I mean,
yeah, I mean that's the
no
thing is it's
depth.
definitely going to be
No
will
depth.
definitely be interpreted as anti-Christian. I mean, I've heard of like Christians being mad about yoga classes being taught and stuff. I'm like, look, dude, everybody needs yoga. Like this is why.
Stretch your
Guys,
body.
look, yeah. No, I just what I do a lot of the time
My
is I'll do
God.
yoga and then I'll like meditate afterwards because I feel like it calms my mind down some and my body down some, and then I can like it helps a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
Like
I used to be able to do yoga. My
Yeah.
body, my bones they're in trouble. I've had 3 back surgeries. It's kind of hard to do some of those poses when I was one of the most limber people, and it's very frustrating not to be that limber like you used to be, but that's aging process, which I've accepted fairly well, I think. I have there's somebody that had, okay, Rob, Judeo-Christian is a Zionist op. Listen, I don't know what that means,
I was
but
gonna say, what does that mean?
but in our country, it was a reaction to I say Judeo-Christian, but in our country, we were an indigenous country that the Christians and whoever came over from that came over in the Mayflower, that came over and murdered and genocided a whole culture.
The thing is,
really
they're pretty
indulgent.
similar. I mean, as an idea, as a thought process, as a religion, like they're pretty similar. I mean, look, Jesus was a lot cooler than his father. His father was a piece of shit. But like, look, they share a lot of the same book, and at the end of the day, you know how Americans are. Like, we don't read it all, so we just pick and choose what we want from the Old Testament for the most part. So like, look, our Christianity is basically Judaism anyway. We got the same psychopath dictator God. So like, I mean, that's who most Americans go to worship on Sunday with their rifles. So, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about, but a Judeo-Christian makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't even remember the context you said it, but.
Well, I wanted to
ask
him what it meant exactly, but he's not answering. So, Rob, if you're not still here, I just wanted to know exactly what you meant.
I would assume
basically we are indigenous.
It's a kind of like a cultural idea, kind of conflating Christianity to create more sympathy for Zionism.
Oh my God!
Like,
I was just thinking that Judeo-Christian means that this country has been traditionally, it wasn't any deep statement I made.
Some people have only read on the internet.
Oh, that's okay. He's not answering. All right, let's see. Hegseth is just like the Weasley sidekick of every villain. the villains of the movie. He's so bad. He's so bad. He's so, I think he's quite insecure when I look at the guy. And I noticed him. There was a clip out there on social media of him berating a reporter. And he says, "You're awful." And I'm thinking, oh my God, the fucker is emulating the orange turd. Holy shit. He's now telling reporters that they're awful and they're bad and terrible. It's pathetic. We are in the pathetic scene. Now, here's another one, Rob. I don't understand you. Morals are only between the chosen by God. There is no moral treatment of animals. Well, that's true. Well, I don't know. I mean, no, it's okay. Rob's fine. It's just I want to understand what he's saying. Of course, there's no moral treatment of animals because we don't. And religion, the Christianity tells you that animals are there for us. What? Tell me.
I mean, why would we not have? We understand that animals are conscious, that they feel suffering, that they want to live just like we do. And I mean, as far as they, experience suffering and want to live, want to continue experiencing, like, obviously there's more responsibility. Obviously we, like, that's the most unethical thing we do is animal agriculture and how we treat animals. That's another part of this.
It is.
When I talk about between environmentalism and spirituality, everyone always wants to say, like, oh, go walk in the woods, connect with nature and all this. We talk about connect with nature and people think about trees and leaves and shit. They don't ever think about, like, the animals, especially the animals we eat, the animals we hunt, the animals we domesticate so we can mass slaughter industrial farms, but like millions per year, and all the environmental. It seems like a full circle thing. One of the things that used to worry me when I used to think that humanity would survive climate change somehow, when I used to think that we wouldn't go extinct from it, like most people do. Most people think we don't. I was like, okay, well, if humanity doesn't go extinct from climate change, that most likely means we're going to have factory farming and animal agriculture forever. And just ramping up forever. And I was like, look, that's the only thing that would be worse than us going extinct like this in this fascist place. So but honestly, it's kind of like, it's not really how, like, what karma is, but, this was the popular understanding of karmic. It's kind of karmic how animal agriculture, if we don't stop eating animals, we're not going to be able to, there's no chance we're going to deal with climate change. And, there were studies came out in 2013, 2014 saying we couldn't stay below 2C if we kept eating animals and, at the rate we were doing. And the thing is, of course, it's increased since then, but also the reason I think, like, we either go vegan or go extinct, and obviously I think we go extinct, but it's the end of the world party, hey. But
yeah.
It's because of the social aspect of eating animals. It's like, what are we going to do? Like, so we're going to have a meat ration or something like that. There's a small amount of animal agriculture that could be sustainable and maybe environmentally beneficial, but it's like way less than we want now. And there are a lot of poor people on the planet who are probably going to come under less poverty if everything goes well, and then they're going to want to eat that same stuff. And then it's like, well, how do you differentiate it? Well, you make it more expensive so only rich people get it, or only certain people get it? You're going to ration it. All that's untenable, like socially, politically, and economically. Like, it's not going to happen because we're not going to put an upper limit on, you know, our maximum meat intake unless we can deal with those things, and we can't deal with those things. So at the end of the day, it's we go vegan or go extinct. And
Yeah.
I rest my case, I guess.
I don't see it totally happening where I live. People have small farms. They have these small farms. The Amish have their own farms going, and they've followed these traditions, and they eat meat, you know, and they butcher their animals.
And that's the thing is, though, it's like with the billions of people, like, you know, they'll always be using an excuse. Like, they're using an excuse now. Like, people will use indigenous people, and, you know, they would use the Amish if people, generally, if they drew, I don't know, sympathy, I guess. But, you know, in defense of they're eating meat, like, not indigenous people. You've heard it, I'm sure. Like, people saying, well, you know, well, you're going to tell indigenous people they can't eat meat? I'm like, well, personally, me, yeah, I guess if I was king of the world, yeah. Like, I mean, look, we're all on this planet together. I'm sorry. Like, we're all indigenous to this planet.
What is an indigenous person in Alaska who cannot grow food and who has been
there's
hunting
a whole difference. This
for
is then you get to
thousands
the
of
craziest hypotheticals. This is also the crazy hypotheticals they'll throw out next.
Yeah.
Like, well, what if?
Okay,
but this is not.
Did it. I threw it out.
Sandy, you are not in Alaska. I don't think anyone in the feed is indigenous in Alaska hunting for just subsistence survival. Like, I think we all go to the store and we might have some backyard gardens or something. But
I got you on that one, huh? Oh my God, I got under Scott's skin. I can't believe it. I really didn't mean to do it.
No, it's important. I think that's one of the most important things. But I think it's key to like coming to terms with our being alive. We are animals. We're animals on this planet. Like, we're not God's chosen. Like, we invented God. We created God to make us feel special and to explain shit we didn't know back when we didn't know shit. And we understand all of that. And we're still walking around like, oh, maybe I'll get into heaven. Like, we are crazy. Even Trump's worried about it. I mean, you see it. It's a lot of the same insecurity and the same fear of death. Remember for a while when everyone was speculating that he died like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, we loved it. Is he dead yet? All the memes.
Yeah,
is he dead yet?
Remember, he kept talking about heaven and like how like he'd be remembered and stuff and his legacy. And it was
look at him.
Like, oh, he's dying.
Look at him.
I mean, he's not going to last forever. That's yeah.
And it was disgusting to listen to him today. I had to, though, because I wanted to know what was said to the military people. And he was slow. He sounded like he was on tranquilizers. I think he was on something. He wasn't, or he's losing it totally. He can't keep a train of thought. I think that aerosol masking is the only fucking reason we're still alive, ironically. You know what that is, right? The aerosol mask effect.
I mean, maybe.
It's possible. It's certainly a big
some
theory.
Of us. It's the reason, definitely the reason some of us.
Certainly a big. Only heaven has music. Yeah, baby. Only heaven has music. Yeah, Alex. You ever listen to the Climate Crisis Club on Saturdays on Spaces?
I've listened to some. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Alex's thing.
Sure. Yeah,
Alex's trip. Okay, let's see, guys.
Yeah, I think one of the things I do that like this it really changed, and it's weird now looking at it, but like I used to go to a lot of concerts when I was younger. Grew up around Cleveland, and there was tons of concerts. Concerts would always come through, and they were cheap. Like, it wasn't like nowadays where it's like 100. It was like, dude,
I know.
I was broke. I'd be bumming rides. It'd be like $10 a show, $20 maybe. I remember going to like Warped Tour for like $20-25. It's crazy. I don't even want to look at what it was this year. But I mean, I think like going to concerts and festivals. But one of the things, there was a festival place I used to go to when I was younger, and it really like changed my view of what I thought was possible. It was really like the kind of hippie fucking paradise venue, and it was just like you could go and take psychedelics. You're in the woods. There's concerts. You can swim. There's a lake and a beach. And you camp in the actual woods, not packed together in a field like you're a commodity, like at Bonnaroo or something like this. But like, actually like, and it was just the most amazing place. And I've been going back there again the last couple of years, and it's like I think on some level, like, we don't really know what's possible with like human relations and how it's possible for us to interact. And I think in some places like that, it help us reimagine what is potentially possible and how we can live and how people are fucking happier. Like we're social creatures. We like music. We like drugs. I'm sorry for people who have a problem with drugs, but humans like drugs. We like changing our consciousness. Chimpanzees do it. Study just came out that chimpanzees are drunk all the time, or they have 2 drinks like basically every day.
How about people in countries like China or countries that are repressed, or North Korea, or how do you think people cope there that cannot do drugs? Russia, you cannot. Everything's illegal. It's like it was here.
I mean, it's Russia. They got vodka.
Well, Russia, they got vodka.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. They got vodka. Yes, there is a high alcohol.
I have a friend I met at a festival, a good friend I met at a festival. He's from Iran. He said he used to go to festivals in Iran, and then the police would show up and beat him. But like,
wow,
people still have that desire. People still, when that your brutal regime police are going to come in and beat you anyways, and you're still like, look, I am human. I will party. Like,
I am human. I will party. There's no negotiation here.
Yeah, well, you can send in the police to beat me if you want again. But
no, we know Pete Hegseth has no problem. I don't think this administration has problems. I think a lot of them are into it. I think Don Jr. is. Well, you look at his videos.
Well, that's the thing is they're clearly on drugs. It's like, and everybody knows, like, Elon Musk was in the White House bathroom snorting ketamine. It's like, and then they're like, oh, we need to target drug dealers because they're so dangerous and stuff. And then the boats they blew up in Venezuela, like, at least one of them was probably just a family out fishing.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
It's like, and they're saying they're fucking drug dealers. It's like, dude, like, what do you think? They're fucking your son's supplier? Like, dude, what the fuck you?
Yeah,
like, literally, why don't you go through your best friend's phone and find all those drug dealers first? It's all bullshit excuse. Like, the crime and the drug thing, it's all just an excuse for fascism. And the crime, it's what white people say when they see non-white people and feel a little bit scared. They're like, oh, I feel it's crime. And it's, it goes at every level. It's not just Trump. It goes down to it. Like, I don't know, like, white people got problems in this country. And it's,
what do you think?
People I know, people in my family, and I'm like, it's wild.
Okay. Poppy, Scott, do you think it's possible that Trump and his ilk know exactly what's happening with the climate and they're choosing to pursue power and resources to prepare?
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I think they know either way. Like, at the end of the day, they just kind of know deep down, deep down and up high as they think, like, they know they're going to be safe from it. Their wealth is going to insulate them from anything.
And Trump knows he's going to be dead,
except for a change in political power that really, threatens them. But how likely is that to come from the Democrats? So I think they're pretty safe at this point until something changes, until further notice. Yeah, their sense of security is
okay. Poppy has a little farm, and she's hung up on the meat eating bashing thing. Just say you hate industrial butchering, which we do.
But there's no way to feed.
She has the cutest little homestead where she is. I mean, I understand.
There's no way to feed 8 billion people. Like if we had maybe like 1 billion or 200 million people, we could feed them. But we can't.
Well,
industrial factory farms is the only way to feed as many people wanting as much meat as we have right now. And that's the whole problem. Is it's like, look, if we could somehow limit it to no factory farms. If people say that, everyone wants to criticize factory farming, but then everyone wants their cheap burger too. You don't want to pay $20 for a hamburger at McDonald's.
Not
you don't want to pay.
Right.
Well, I'm okay. 99% of people are enough to say everyone without it being much of a stretch. But I mean, that's the whole problem. It's like, if everyone would just have a backyard farm and just eat the meat they could grow on it, like that would be one thing. But that's not realistic.
Do it in the cities. I know.
We take over the whole planet doing that, and then everything would be destroyed. Like agriculture is the most destructive thing we do, and animal agriculture just means we're eating higher on the food chain, and so we're doing so much more agricultural damage in the process. However you get that, like you're going to have to get all that grain, like you're going to have to feed and grow an animal to its full size, and then we pump them full of stuff to make that happen, and they're all,
Yeah.
Like
Anthony wants to know, what did she say? Yeah. Who will voluntarily die to lower the population? Anthony, it's not like that,
Well, isn't that
Anthony.
I think that's the whole question of the 21st century,
Yeah, but it's really not. I mean, I made a video, overpopulation, you decide. And really it's empowerment, but what it is in not procreating is that the problem is women are repressed and they don't have freedom of choice, and most religions are very patriarchal, and that's the big problem. And women, they have 8, 9 kids. It's it's such a that's a packed subject. It really is a packed subject.
I mean,
But
the
it's
reality is, yeah, if we had the
certainly
freedom, the education, and we just like, I think with the cultural changes we could do it as long as the politics like pushed in the right direction. I don't think you have to like do a one child policy, because like one good book I read on overpopulation was that really just kind of, I never really thought about it too much. I was like, well, because what are you going to do about it? I'm not having kids. I already knew, look, I've known about climate change since I had a good second grade teacher. So I've known about climate change since I was 9 years old, and I figured we were going to deal with it. So I was like, well, kids was never on the table for me. I don't know if I would have particularly wanted them anyway, but so I was like, look, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not taking out anyone else's kids. I'm not having my own. There's nothing I can do about it. So, but the book Countdown by Alan Weissman was it's kind of old now, but it did point out at the time, like Iran and China had a similar, basically the same population, rate growth reduction
yeah.
from China's one policy compared with Iran just basically legalizing, birth control and abortion, and it, so that was obviously a while ago now at this point, but I think I just the way that it's always framed is we have to have a one child policy or some kind of authoritarian rule saying, oh, you can't have kids. Like on some level, it's just giving people the choice, giving women the choice, and I mean, it's the right thing to do anyway. On some level, it's like,
But it's
I think like
but
civilization
it's the right
kind of
thing.
rests on the right to abortion.
But it's
as
the right thing
problematic
to
as that may
us.
sound.
It's the right thing to us, and there's many countries where obviously it's not the right thing in the culture. We have a big problem with
But it
that.
also changes. I mean, like we saw in Mexico. I mean, the women especially forced the change. They legalized abortion. It was 2018 or something like that, but they have a very Catholic culture, and
Yes, they do.
still do. But they also they rose up against that. They changed that at the same time
That's
as America was backsliding.
encouraging as hell to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think change is impossible. I just the reason I'm a doomer is because I don't see us doing it. I mean, it's like with veganism, I don't see people really, and it's it's going to be a process, like for on every level, like societal, personal, whatever. But it is also the fastest thing you can change. Like, if what are we going to do to reduce carbon taxes by voting or with our political system? In months, like we know absolutely nothing, dude. There's nothing that maybe we'll have a special election we can vote for, or maybe you can I don't think there's much going on this year, some local elections, but that's not really going to do much of anything, especially as far as any kind of concrete policy change. But with what we
Locally, though,
eat, that's going to have impact on the supply chain, in days, weeks, months, immediately. Like what you're buying, if you go to the store 3 times a day and get your chicken or your beef, and you start getting tofu instead, like that's going to have an immediate impact. That's going to immediately ripple through the supply chain and the economic system and cause change. And it's absolutely necessary on top of it. And then there's all the other animal rights aspects. But, I think that all just ties up with we just forget that we're animals on a planet, and we don't relate to that enough. And we don't have compassion for each other and other animals. And I mean, a lot of people have pointed, like Gandhi's pointed, there's been a lot of quotes about how how a society treats its animals and stuff, and as a sign of the morality of the society. And it was all kind of just moral theory. But at this point, I think climate change in particular, and environmentally, I mean, it's really environmentally destructive overall, but climate change in particular is going to make it like a moral issue that we go vegan or go extinct. It's karma,
Okay.
kind of. It's
Now
like, look, we
listen,
keep eating our own, or
listen to
or we
this one.
survive.
So, for the Trump administration just opened gazillions of acres of federal land to mining. And so that is another whole thing is for all of they want to mine for coal, they say. But yet you read in the business journals that they're mining for the minerals we need. So the hypocrisy is we need these minerals not just for computers, but for batteries, for backup, for solar, for whatever. They say they hate it, and Christopher Wright wants coal, but they know more than they let out. Even though Christopher Wright seems like such a fucking douchebag. I don't know if that's a politically incorrect word. I grew up in a different era. Dipshit. Okay, dipshit.
No, douchebag is a totally appropriate word.
I love the
think he was a
word.
natural gas guy, which is interesting because he knows exactly why like coal was dying because of
Yeah.
natural gas. He made his money killing coal.
No shit.
They don't care about anything. It's not like we got to
like-
stop letting these people act like
Oh my god.
they are serious at all at any level. So,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, why do I need to meditate more? Just
Who said that?
Poppy, just because I'm right. I'm sorry. I don't want to be right about any of it, but I guess it
Aw.
could barely be worse.
She
But,
is. You'd love her. You don't know her.
I
She's
know. I'm not
wonderful.
saying she.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm sure we get along, but
You would. Doomers, Devil's Therapist Dennis. I made a wonderful video. McCarthy's Ballad of Doom. I don't know if you saw it. It was great. Donald wrote and Dennis did the music. Doomers are some of the loveliest people I know. We need more. Don't believe that crap from Dr. Gargamel Trip. Thank you,
So,
Dennis. I'm glad you're here. It's late in Germany, isn't it? Kind of. He's in Germany.
Oh, nice. So, I'm not judging you. I'm just laying out I'm just saying. I'm not
All
judging
right.
you personally. I'm laying out the
No.
rubric. I'm laying out the people have to judge themselves. Like, look, I judge myself a lot when I eat meat. I didn't grow up vegan. I wasn't
It's
born
a
vegan.
world.
Like,
Look at it this way.
I know. I like.
It's a
I'm
worldview.
and I think on some level, like you have to just as an individual, but especially like if humans are going to deal with this, like we have to admit to being hypocrites on some level. We have to admit that, we're not perfect, and like that's and you try to improve yourself. But I think one of the big like ego trips is people just can't admit that they're hypocrites, and that's always
I'm a
that's just
hypocrite.
been something that I never.
I
That's
eat
just been
eggs.
something I guess I early on was like that's that's just kind of a reality. But I mean,
Here's a good. I got a wonderful statement right here. I don't think any one of us want to be doomers. We're forced to be because we see it. We watch science. We follow the science. We know the science. And I've interviewed how many scientists? Many.
yeah.
Many,
So
many.
all right, I have a question for you. Maybe I'll rant a little bit first, but so I mean, I feel like a doomer. I most agree with doomers. Of all the people who have anything to say about politics or the state of the world or anything like that, like I mostly agree with doomers. But they also piss me off a lot. I'm very sorry, everybody. But I have some problems with on some level, just to the point when it seems like they're accepting and like passively accepting what's going on, whereas we're some of the only people who've ever been able to who really have the capacity to make any type of change because of what technology, especially the internet. I mean, what we're doing right now on some level, the information and the communication and the connection, because of all the opportunity that gives us, which is only a recent thing, as recent as our seeming inevitable doom.
A blink
They kind
of
of
the eye.
they kind of come hand in hand. So on some level, I have a problem when doomers seem to suggest that we shouldn't fight back, or when they really do a service for the fossil fuel industry, which sometimes they do, with the minerals and aspect of things, because on some level, we have to accept that humans existing is going to be environmentally, planetarily destructive. This is part of one of the lies of
That's what I
net zero.
say.
This whole idea of we'll get to net zero. I'm like, no, we are never going to get to net zero carbon emissions, especially not negative. That's just not going to be a possible reality. And I don't understand how all these intelligent liberal scientists, academics, communicators, experts, activists, whoever convince themselves that we're going to get to net zero or net negative carbon emissions
Fear.
ever, because we
Fear.
always knew carbon capture wouldn't get us there.
Fear.
And so like we're not going to be able to cut
Hope.
everything else. So we're always going to have some carbon emissions. So we're always going to have like some environmental impact. Like
Yes, of course,
Yeah,
and I talk
I get
about
that.
that. I do talk about that. About
And so
the fact that we have
like
we
even
can still
saving
do
our world,
anything.
like yeah, batteries, because we
Do
need
things.
battery and new solar, and that's going to all destroy a lot of
I know, and
the
I'm a
planet to do so, and that
and
sucks. And that's
I
I think
like
that's
them
just part
though.
of reality. But it's like we got to look at the big picture, and I think the only problem I have with doomers is when it seems like they suggest that like we don't fight back or that it's pointless to fight back. Because maybe it is, maybe there is no fucking point to fight it. But it's like, well, what's on
That's
this
what
on the
we
same level?
are.
It's like, what's the point of anything? We're all limited, finite beings. Humanity was always going to eventually go extinct. Maybe it'd be 4 billion years instead of 110. But we are where we are. Like at the end, it kind of comes down to like mindfulness, of just being mindful of where you are and what you can do, especially to fight these bastards doing this shit now, and not that I don't know. I've got problems with the optimists and the doomers. Obviously, like the doomism has been used, and I mean, yeah, it's overshoot, but I don't know. Overshoot's just a word. It's just an abused word, if I'm being honest. Like it's true, and it gets to a bigger environmental point. And yeah, of course, we have overshot. I don't sound like Michael Mann blocks me. I probably have been blocked by Michael Mann more than anybody. But it's I'm not trying to vilify doomers either, because they are the most realistic. But I think like I have a problem when they point to like geophysical reasons for us, like overshoot. Or I remember like with Guy McPherson and the Clathright gun. Like I used to chat with Guy McPherson back in the day, and till he blocked me too. But like the Clathright gun idea, this whole like idea of like, oh, there's going to be a massive methane, but we know there's going to be some methane. We know it's going to make it worse, 100%. Not going to disagree with that. Not going to disagree with the greater like thesis here, and that eventually it's probably going to roast us too. Trust me, I've always 100% agree on that. But like, we don't know how much methane is trapped in the Arctic or how soon it's going to be released. So acting like we know that one day soon, we got 12 years left and we're all going to be burned off it. Like, I'm pretty sure when I first talked with Guy McPherson on Facebook back in the day, he said we should all be dead by now.
Yeah, I think it's 2026.
And maybe we are. Maybe that explains things. Maybe this is hell.
Maybe we are. Oh my gosh.
But at the end of the day, I think we just need to just stick with your breath, breathe, focus, fight the bastards. That doesn't mean, and the thing is, the doomerism gives you, because what hope gives you, hope makes you compromised. Hope gives them leverage, and we don't really have any, we don't have any leverage. So it makes it ultimately like asymmetrical and unfair. Like that's what the doomers get. You can't have anything. You can't have leverage over a doomer. That's the thing they get. And so, you can have leverage over a liberal, leverage over a leftist. You can't really have leverage over a doomer. And
man, I should have you on with Elliot. But you should. I'm going to send you the clip that he did. The different kind of doomers. It was really interesting. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, there are a lot. Doomers do a lot of the most. I mean, I remember when we had our local Extinction Rebellion
here,
came together.
Do more.
It was like most of us were basically doomers, but it was like, dude, we were in the we had an impact. We had an actual impact on state energy policy, at least for a moment in time, and we shut down. We caused some havoc for the police in the major metro area, and we got some actual policy shift when Sierra Club was telling us not to. So what we did, I guess we might as well tell, since we're all comrades here. What we did is we with our Extinction Rebellion here in Atlanta, which we probably can't do this anymore because I'm sure they have police there. But we basically just did like a whole interruption of the PSC meeting, the Public Service Commission, where they were doing the was it like the PRI or whatever, where they basically say what they're going to do as far as energy generation over the next couple of years, their plan for it. And so we interrupted the meeting. One dude threw on a Grim Reaper costume and he started the interruption. And then I started live streaming, and we all started, shedding. He just started going off on the whole board. It was like 5 of them. And, but there's no police. Like, we're across from the state capitol, downtown Atlanta, and the PSC is so kind of like, it's an arcane thing that no one pays attention. No one cares about this level of bureaucracy. So but they decide state energy policy. Every state has one of these state energy regulatory boards that like decides all your state energy policy. So we basically interrupted the meeting, made it real uncomfortable, made them kind of I don't know if scared's the word, but we made him like notice that like, yo, we're screaming in your face and we're not scared. So I mean, the chair Bubba just turned around in his chair for the whole time, waited, like we just went off on him for like 5-10 minutes till the police came up, and eventually the police made it because they weren't even in the building, they were like across the street or some shit. So like it took them a while to come up with the slow ass elevator and everything, and then so we had and Sierra Club knew ahead of time. We had to like talk to Sierra Club people. They told us not to do it because they were in a big negotiation to get more solar and stuff at the time. And so they were like, oh, you're going to, they think you'll ruin it. Maybe you shouldn't do this. And we're like, nah, fuck that shit. So we're like, this is politics. So yeah, we went in there, made a ruckus. Police literally had to push us out of the building, push us down the elevator, push us out of the building. And yeah, they adopted more solar that year. I mean,
civil disobedience. That's what Roger
so
Hallam calls for.
Yeah, exactly.
I like civil disobedience.
It was Extinction Rebellion action.
Yeah, I am all for.
And it was simple. There weren't that many of us involved, but media was already in the room, and the people who made the decisions were in the room, and no police were like anywhere around. So.
All right, one more question for you. We're going over, boy. I didn't think this was going to be so long. It's from Poppy. She wants to know, are you living any differently in your life?
I guess, what do you mean?
Differently than you might have. Like, are you living, we're mindful of how you live, like carbon footprint, life, how do you live? Do you think about what you do? Like, I think about everything that happens here.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. So as far as systemically, I'll look at this in like different ways, because everyone wants to bring up the personal carbon footprint, and then now people love pointing out how that's was amended by BP and to shame consumers into shouldering the necessity of the change that our entire society has. And I think mostly I agree mostly with the leftist critique of that's bullshit. But I think where it's not bullshit, I'm sorry, Poppy, is diet. Because at the end of the day, the political discrepancy there isn't between humans. It's not between rich Americans and poor Americans. It's between humans and other species that have no vote, that have, like, animals will never vote for us to stop eating them by the millions, by the billions, by the trillions. And since that has such a huge environmental impact, I think like a lot of what comes down to the personal responsibility aspect is we need to go vegan and overthrow capitalism, get involved in politics, start a revolution, in the figurative sense, not like, because honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, a political revolution doesn't matter if we haven't had a revolution in our minds and how we relate to the world. So yeah, I mean, I'm still a destructive consumerist and stuff, but I mean, obviously I'm not having kids, and I'm vegan, and I try to do political stuff, and I definitely think a lot about, I try to reduce my waste, but yeah, I could be personally better, but at the same time, like, that's not going to save the world. Like, we need to change the whole culture to make it, like, just the way we waste stuff. It's not like look, I could use nothing and waste nothing, but like we need to build like an economy that focuses on using things circularly, like reusing bottles and stuff. I mean, like, there are a lot of small things I do, but it's like I think the major thing is try to move the political system, the big system, and
that's who you are.
Eat animals and their fluids as little as possible, and
that's who you are.
So I think those are the two big things, and then I mean,
okay. All right, let's see. Okay.
Question, but.
I'm just thinking, well, change the culture. We try, but the problem is right now we're in a culture war that's pretty overwhelming. Here, Pentagon. All right, let's hear. Long-time news. And then we're going to do an environmental coffee house flush of the day. Long-time Pentagon reporter Helene Cooper says she cannot find one military official at the speech who liked what they heard from Trump and Hegseth. They're not going online. They're not going on Fox. They're not talking about it. They're going to act like it never happened. Isn't that nice? Wouldn't it be something if the military decided and there was a coup like in all these other countries? Of course, that's like just a utopian fantasy. The coup.
I don't even know. I mean, America's messed up. America's deep. Would that be a good thing? It could end up worse.
I don't know.
The only thing to make things worse at this point.
Yeah. Americans don't like to change their lifestyle, Alex says. Yeah. And of course you are, Poppy. We love you. Just because you don't agree with somebody, that doesn't mean we're upset. We love. That's what conversation's about. That is what the dialogue is about. We're not all the same. We're never going to all be the same. We're never going to think the same. But it's okay, sweetheart. It's all right. Let's see. In my red rural area, I don't know if you're still here, they are probably very afraid of college-educated left idealists, trans, the Kirk murder and Trump almost offed. They are panicking. Yeah, you could have a point. You can't tell though because it's been so it's been so normal. Even though there's a drought, all the farmers markets went on, and all the festivals, and all the little fairs, and all that. Everything is just like nothing's happening, but everything is happening. But they don't see it here because they'll watch Fox and they'll say, "Oh, it's in Chicago," but nothing's happening here. So let's get those immigrants, and it's okay if I speech the shit out of people because we're watching that on our TV. The left is angry about a genocide and the right is cheering on the enemy within. That's how I guess we could start to end. All right, let's pick a flush.
Oh my God. Hold on. People are mad. People
Who's
are mad at me.
No, don't worry
Yeah.
about being
No, I'm not.
mad.
I am worried about it. No, Sandy, let me tell you,
Why?
this is why I became a doomer. When I realized, when the science pointed out that we had to massively reduce meat consumption to meet climate goals, I was like, oh shit, we are not going to meet our climate goals. But I mean, I don't know. People take this, I don't know. How do we navigate this? Poppy, help me out. How, I don't know, maybe, who do we ask here? Sandy, let me ask you, how do you navigate this? The way that people feel so attacked when you point out how the impact of diet and the systemic reasons. I'm not.
Listen, I get attacked.
I ate meat for 25 years and I knew better, pretty much that whole time. So I'm not trying to act
It's how you feel now. It's your philosophy.
It's not just how I feel. It's not just.
It's a philosophy
I'm
of
right
what
now. I mean, look, you're.
It's okay.
How could we possibly? How can you can't even talk about it? So it's well then that's why I'm well.
We're going to roll with it, like Alex says.
What hope
we're
is there?
moving on. I want to do a flush.
Fine. See, no one wants to talk about it. But
no, because we've been 2 hours and my back is killing me. I just wanted it. It is key. It is key. I know it. I want to do a flush of the day. And
all right, let's do it.
We need to get everybody to. Okay, what are we going to flush? Flush ice? Yeah. Okay. We're going to flush ice today. Let me make it loud.
I second that.
We're going to flush ice. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Life.
Circle in the drain. Circle in the drain. Circle in the drain. Yeah. There you go. And nobody's, maybe that devil's therapist is right. She's probably not attacking you personally, but her expectation. Whatever. I don't know.
No,
Talk privately. Oh, that would be nice. Because that's how I've made some of my best associations online. People that didn't agree with me or wanted to fight with me, and then we talked about it out. We talked it out, and I've got some amazing people I correspond with because of that. So that's what gets me excited. That's what makes the world go round for me. When people and the differences and the difference of opinion, it's great. That's a good thing. So you guys will talk to each other. We should probably flush doomers since that's what Scott said.
Oh my God.
He says he doesn't like us. I'm just
down with you.
He says I'm just joking.
No,
I'm just joking. It's just all right. So look, I enjoyed the discussion. It got animated. Our chat is wonderful because everybody's interactive, and that's what the best part of having this channel is the people and the people that supported it through my takedown and all the other crap. Everybody, thank you so much, Scott. I'm going to give you the last word, and everybody, that I love you guys so much. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Yeah, this was fun, Sandy. Next time I'm back on, my book will be done, and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll have read it, and we'll talk about that, I guess, a little bit. Even though it's supposed to be fiction, at this point, it's not much fiction left. Thanks. Reality.
No, there really isn't. Who was who?
Hey, my cats eat meat. Just I don't.
So
I
do
don't approve
mine.
Of it, but
So do mine.
they also eat peas and cockroaches. So.
That's funny. All right, sweetheart. Hey, I eat eggs.
But they
I
are
get it from
spayed.
my neighbor. Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, don't get me started on that.
Oh yeah, I don't, we
Yeah.
didn't even get to your.
Yeah,
you're right.
I take care of the ones that aren't spayed. All right, thank you, everybody. See
All right,
you
spay and neuter,
on,
everybody.
yeah, there you go. That's a great way to end. See you on Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on this space and this channel. All righty. Woohoo!